We're going to go back to January 20th, 1988. You had two sisters who lived... I'm doing a story. I'm doing a story. Yeah. Oh, this is... you own the business?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'll keep off of it. I'll keep off of it. The story doesn't have anything to do with your business.
Oh, okay. I just thought because you was walking on the corporate.
No, the story occurs right there.
Huh?
The story occurs right there.
But duplex?
You want to go talk to her first, get her side of the story?
I figured I'd talk to you first, get your side.
Okay. What's your first question?
What's going on?
Okay.
I'm not here.
Okay. So, that's my van over there. Okay. I'm here. I do YouTube vlogs about murders. So, a murder happened on January 20th, 1988. A woman named Andrea Duke was murdered right there. So I go to the locations of where murders occurred. So I'm going over here to film the location, and then afterwards I go to like the people that were killed, their graves or what have you. So I come walking over here, and I did walk on her property because I'm cutting over to where the crime started, where like the sister came out there. And then she asked me what I was doing, and I told her I'm doing a story. And she said, like, she was like, because she probably doesn't see this every day. So she's like, well, like, kind of like, she didn't say, what do you mean? But she was alluding to the fact of like, what is this? And I said, I'll be here like 5 minutes. That's it. Just 5 minutes. And then I'll leave. And then she said to get off of her property. And at that time I was standing on the grass, and I told her, I said, this is your property? And she said, yes. I said, I don't think this is your property. And then she's just stood there with her arms crossed right there. And then her friends came out. And then I said, I'll be here Okay. Are you gonna let me finish, or?
I'm talking to you.
Okay, because you didn't let me finish when we were speaking. That's why the police officer were called.
You're talking to me.
Yeah, that's it. That's my side of the story. So I did get off of her property right there, and I told her I'll be here less than 5 minutes, probably 3 minutes. All I gotta do is say they found her. She was on the collapse on that porch right there. That was it. And I'd be in my van, and she would never see me ever again. And she decided to call the police. So
You told me to.
Yeah, I did. I said, if there's a problem, and if you're gonna stand out there and disturb my video, then I said, call the police.
And I did exactly.
There you go. Okay, that's it. That's my story.
Now, if what he just explained to you, if he would have explained that to me,
You didn't give me a chance.
it wouldn't have been a problem. He didn't explain it to me. I run a daycare center with 70 kids in it.
And you can see where.
Totally.
Man with the camera with
Totally. I feel, I know. That's why I'm just kind of like, I just told her I'm doing the story. She
All
didn't.
you told me, I'm doing a story.
I did tell you that.
I've never seen you. I said, that's all you told me.
What else did you want to know? I
I've
mean,
never seen you before.
okay.
I run a daycare center.
Understand that.
Young kids in it.
Correct,
Their
yes.
parents come back and forth. I didn't know what you was doing.
I totally understand.
Anyway.
That's why I said call the police if there's an issue.
That's why I did.
Right,
And
because if I were the
on my property. So
and I
if
left.
you do your videos, you do it in the street.
and I left.
That's all I asked.
Right. That's why I said call the police, because I'm a strange, creepy guy with a camera. No, you're totally correct. I'm not mad at you. This is just a no.
Y'all want them just to leave and trespass? Oh, man. Can I get your name just to say that I talked to you?
Did I commit a crime?
So, y'all want them trespassed or no?
Yo,
Y'all want them trespassed or no?
No, I don't.
I'm just all I'm doing. I walk right here. I go over there, show the carport, show this. 3 minutes.
You walked out on the property. That's why.
I know, but I was wrong for that, for walking on this property, because I wasn't thinking. I'm just trying to take the shortest direct point to it.
The only reason I name is just for my record's sake, because my boss...
Did I commit a crime, or?
Okay, you can go ahead and leave, sir. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm on public property right now, so.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do my story. I'd like to do my story.
You can continue doing your story, but
okay,
I would ask for you not to cause any more problems with them.
I'm not causing any problems. The problem is finished. So you can go ahead and talk to them. I'm gonna finish my story, and you'll probably never see me again.
Sounds great.
Okay.
All right. Just make sure that you're on the right side of the road whenever you're walking, the correct side of the road whenever you're walking.
What would the correct side of the road be?
You have to be walking against the flow of traffic.
Okay, so I love learning new things from officers. By the way, what's your name? Officer Bristow? I don't need your badge number and all that. Just, okay, Officer Bristow. So just so I know for future reference, because I love learning new things. So there's no sidewalks right here. As you can see,
that's why you walk across the...
Okay, so the direction of traffic on this street is coming this way or that way. So for me to legally be on the right side of the law, I have to walk against traffic.
On this side of the road, correct. Because cars are coming at you that way. And that's more so, it plays a little bit of a role during the daytime, but more of a role at night, to where you can see a car coming. And
I got a question. Why'd you ask me for my identification if I didn't commit a crime?
Again, like I said, just for my record's sake.
Oh, okay. But so I don't legally, so just that we both know, I don't legally have to give you my driver's license.
Correct. Just like I said, just for my record's sake, to say that I talked to you in case something like this comes up again. Does that make sense? But again,
I mean, me personally, it doesn't make sense, because you don't need my identification because I didn't commit a crime. She was in the right. I will admit, she was in the right, because I wasn't even thinking about anything until I'm like, I didn't even know that was a daycare.
Yeah.
Until she started talking to me, and I said, oh, I said, and then I started feeling kind of stupid. You know, I'm like, I could be some ditz like out here, you know what I mean? So I totally understand, and I would understand you would want to identify myself, because I probably appear a little suspect, but I did convey the purpose.
Just like me.
Well, yeah, but it's a little odd. Not everybody walks around with a gimbal with a camera. You know, so I understand her concern, and I wasn't mad at her. You know, she kind of wouldn't let me explain fully what it was, and I told her, I said, like, I'd have been gone already. I'd have been at the cemetery by now.
Yeah.
And it's not her fault. She did what she was supposed to do. I have a job to do as well.
100%.
So as long as they stay outside, I kind of can't do the video. I'm not telling them they could do whatever they want. That's their property. But it takes away from the video if I have you here with your car, and then them outside looking at me.
I'm gonna go talk to them for a second.
I'll stay right here. I mean,
it's their property. I don't have to make them go in.
By the way, is this city property?
No, this is going to be their property.
Oh, okay.
They
So
own it up to the curb.
So I was wrong, because I was standing right there.
The only time it's going to be city, as far as I know. Okay. I don't think the city owns this, because they're going.
Yeah, but there's a city sign. So.
Correct.
Yeah.
But there's a city sign in that dude's front yard too. The street sign, you know, Miller's Place and all that.
Okay. So I could have been wrong. I hope I didn't get an attitude with her.
The same thing with the poles.
Right. Okay.
More so the street lights and stuff.
Okay. So no, I definitely walked on her property, and all I was thinking is a direct beeline to the location, and that's it.
So I think now that they have an understanding of what it is that you're doing, they probably don't want you walking on the property, but they're.
Oh no, totally. I guess I'm in the wrong, because I did rock on their property. I need to protect myself.
Correct.
And defend my rights.
So basically, city property is any piece of concrete that the city lays. So a sidewalk would be correct.
Okay. I thought it was because there's no sidewalk, so okay.
Does that make a little bit more sense?
Oh yeah, no.
So any piece of concrete that the city lays is a general rule for it.
Okay. So
so you're good to hang out right here.
Yeah. Okay. Totally. Yeah. I don't even need to go on the grass. Like I said. Yeah.
And I don't even know. I'm sure this was built in '88.
Yeah. She did.
I can assure you, I wasn't born in '88, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
And that's why I do these stories, because I'm sure you live in Paris or in the area, and you would have never known that a horrible murder occurred right there. And that's kind of what I do.
I don't even know.
Lamont at large, check me up on YouTube. I ain't coming around here being a weirdo. This is my job. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know if we have too many people that still working in '88.
Yeah, I mean, that happened to 35.
Couple, but
Yeah, 35 years ago. I'm sure, you know, people just forget things.
Yeah.
And so I like doing older stories just to kind of remind people. It's just a hobby that I do that I, by chance, make a living on.
So you got a few more minutes here, and then you're gonna wrap it up and head on out.
All I gotta do is walk, probably start at that sign. I will not walk on the property. I've just gotta walk right there. That's it. Just walk around. That's it. Take some B-roll footage. That's it.
All right, man. I'll get out your way, and I won't run your shot anymore.
Okay.
It looked like they're going inside too.
Hey, ma'am, I apologize. No beef, no problem. Sorry.
Best of luck to you, brother. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you, officer. We're gonna go back to January 20th, 1988. You had two sisters who lived in this duplex right here. Their names were Patricia and Andrea Duke. Now, at the time, both girls, they worked at the hospital a few miles from where they lived. Patricia was a night nurse. She worked a graveyard shift. And I believe Andrea might have been some kind of a medical tech, something along those lines. At the time of her murder, Andrea was 26 years of age. So on that morning, January 20th, 1988, Patricia gets off of work. I'm assuming she probably worked, she could have worked 11 to 7 or 6 to 6. I'm not exactly sure. That's pretty irrelevant to the story. But she gets off of work and she pulls around this corner right here, hangs a left, and goes into the driveway. Now, her sister Andrea worked the day shift, the morning shift. So when she would come into home, if she didn't see Andrea's car, she probably thought that she was either on her way to work or she was already at work. So on that morning, she pulls into the carport. She doesn't see Andrea's car. So she's thinking, okay, she's at work. So she goes through the gate right there. And I'm assuming this is 1034 Northeast 34th Street because that's 1010 Northeast 34th. And that goes 1044, 1046, 1048, 1050. Oftentimes when crimes like this occur, they'll get submit a address change. So I'm guessing this was the 1034. So she goes through that gate right there. She goes to her door, as you can see behind the gate, and notices that the door is ajar. Now the door is ajar. She's thinking, okay, this is weird. Maybe she accidentally left the door open. So she goes inside and immediately she sees smears of blood on the wall. Too much blood. She backs out of the apartment and comes out from around here, comes out to the street. And at this time now, she sees a bunch of police officers and paramedics. And she comes out here, and to her horror, she sees her sister covered in blood in her nightgown, collapsed on her neighbor's porch. Right there. There was basically nothing that they could do to save that poor girl's life. By the time the paramedics and the police arrived, she was already dead. Now you have a murder scene on your hands. The detectives are casing the apartment, looking for clues. They find a hair that was not hers in the bed, and they also collected seminal fluids and blood from that same bed. Now, DNA at the time was in its infancy, but it was a technology that they were learning about, and there were people that were convicted based on DNA evidence. Still new, but still a tool that law enforcement at the time could use to catch a murderer that committed a atrocious crime such as this. So they take Andrea to the coroner's office for autopsy, and let me tell you, the brutality of this crime was unreal. The prosecuting attorney in this case had been working for Lamar County for 20 years, and he said this was the most horrific murder he's ever tried at that time. She had about 44, 45 stab wounds. 3 of them proved to be the fatal wounds. This animal, sick son of a bitch, cuts her vocal cords. So when they left her on the bed, she was able to crawl, but she wasn't able to scream. She wouldn't have been able to pick up the phone and tell the 911 dispatch what happened to her. She had several lacerations, bruises all over her body. She had like these burn marks. These guys had tied her up with an electrical cord and whipped her with it. Just for no reason. Take an electric cord and just start whipping her. They raped her. They totally defiled and destroyed that poor girl's body. Absolutely horrific. Absolutely unreal. The brutality that man can do is almost sometimes unreal. I just sometimes I don't understand. As the detectives are gathering clues inside of the home, they were able to pick up DNA evidence off of the bed, blood, seminal fluids. They also got a hair that was not matched to Andrea's. Also in the room, they found a bloody sock footprint. Andrea's purse was missing, as well was her car. We're going to fast forward about 2 weeks later, February 3rd, about 75, 80 miles to the south in Dallas, Texas. One scumbag, piece of filth, Tyrone Fuller, is using a stolen credit card. Whose credit card is that? That's Andrea Duke's credit card. He goes to a store, they run the card, they see that it's stolen, they call the police. Police arrive, hem him up, arrest him, take him down to the station. They do a check on the credit card. Whose credit card is this? It's Andrea Duke's. She's a murder victim. Immediately, homicide detectives come down to the jail, transfer him back up over here, and now let's sit down and have a talk. Okay, so what are you doing with the girl's credit card? And after a little bit of interrogation, I'm sure this didn't come out within 10, 15 minutes, Tyrone Fuller's story pretty much goes as follows. Him and his friends, John McGrew and Kenneth Harmon, decided to rob this girl. So they all three broke into her home, and he was looking for stuff to steal. And he says, oh yeah, Kenneth and John, they took her to the room for about 45 or 50 minutes. I don't know what they were doing. I was just there to rob the place. I didn't know she was dead. I didn't even know that she was raped. So you mean to tell me that you're in an apartment, a small 2-bedroom duplex apartment, and you got 2 guys in there raping a woman, and she didn't scream, there's no tussling, you don't hear any furniture being knocked over the place, nothing, huh? Nope, not at all. I didn't hear anything. I just came there to steal. And they looked up this guy's record, and he had ended up doing a couple stints in prison here in Texas. I believe one of the stints he received was a 12-year bid that he actually only ended up doing 2 years on. I don't know how the hell that is. This guy's been in and out of trouble with the law. Just one of those, basic losers that don't want to work, don't want to get a job. The whole world owes this guy something. So, okay, so you just wanted to go in there and steal, and they ended up raping and killing this poor girl. Oh, yeah, that's the story. I had nothing to do with that. Well, little did this moron know that there was a burgeoning technology called DNA. So they get a sample from him, and lo and behold, it matches the DNA found in the bed. So the DNA in the bed excludes Andrea's boyfriend, Kenneth Harmon, and John McGrew. Also, the hair that was found in the bed also matches his. Oh, and that bloody sock footprint that I mentioned earlier, it wasn't John's, it wasn't Kenneth's, but matched perfectly to one filthy loser, Tyrone Fuller. Okay, so in March 1989, They indict him and charge him with her rape, her murder, and the robbery. They also indicted John McGrew. Kenneth Harmon, I don't know how this guy was at the scene, but they didn't have any evidence, so they did not charge him with any crimes. I don't know if those guys, maybe they didn't say anything, maybe he really wasn't there. I have absolutely no clue. I have absolutely no idea. So they charge him with the murder and they go to trial. And of course, this case was so well known in the area that the defense, they asked the court if they could get a change of venue. I don't know why these idiots do this. People know what happened, okay? All because you go to the next county over doesn't mean you're gonna have a biased jury, because the juries everybody knows about this horrific story. The absolute torture that this girl had to put up with and what they did to her. You think people aren't gonna remember that? So eventually, Tyrone Fuller is found guilty of the murder of Andrea Duke, and he is sentenced to death, rightfully so. McGrew, the other guy, was sentenced to life in prison. And that sentence was carried out on one Tyrone Fuller, and definitely could not have been done soon enough. During the trial, a psychologist who did an evaluation of Tyrone Fuller said if there was a scale of 1 to 10 on the antisocial personality disorder scale, this guy would be a 12. This guy also had his parole officer testify that of all the years, of all the parolees that they would, talk to, he said this guy Tyrone just had a chip on his shoulder that, just the world owed him so much. And that he said normally a parolee, he says like this: a lot of people have a good heart, they just do a bad thing. He said this guy had no remorse for any crimes he committed, none at all, and had absolutely no interest in bettering himself, changing his life. He said most parolees want to get a job, they want to stay out of prison, they want to do the right thing. This guy, he was just a filth bag. That's all he was. That's all he was. And this is the final resting place of Andrea Lea Duke. And that is her father on the other side. A terrible, terrible murder. And normally, with these stories that I read, because sometimes I do like the graves of the executed. But this one, originally that was kind of the plan. But when I started reading about the story, I said, there's no way I can. Now, I did go see his grave, but that was it. I might put him in the Faces in Death in the future. I don't know, whatever. But to torture this poor girl for no reason, to beat her like that, to beat her upside the head, they pummeled her. They absolutely tortured this girl. Rest in peace to both Andrea and her father, James. Okay, guys, I am out of here. Got to start making tracks. I will catch up with you on the next video. I hope to see you there. Until next time, God bless. Peace out.